How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about BBIG, which was up just over 5% on the day. And before I put this recording together, I saw inside of the after hours, it is gaining a good amount of momentum. We'll talk about it further in the video. I won't be wasting any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder, you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is the technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in the bearish case scenario and as well as in the bullish case scenario. And then we're going to be going on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information. The reason why this is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know the buying and the selling behavior on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for BBIG. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $2.86, being up 5.15%. On the low, it tested $2.59, and then on the high, testing $2.86. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 16.047 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 36.32 million shares. So we did have below average volume on the day, but you could see we had some strength in the stock. And also at the time of this recording, in the after hours, BBIG is trading at $2.95. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, we can see from the RSI down below, it is at 54.50. And then when we take a look at our moving averages here on the chart, we are below the 200-day, but we are above the 21-day EMA, and we're also above the 100-day and as well as for the 50-day. So overall, we definitely got some consistency from BBIG. So we saw a low at 259. Remember yesterday we had a low at 247. So the fact that we were able to hold support at 259 and we were looking for 250 to continue to hold, we ended up seeing a high at 286. On the previous day, again, right around the same range. It's been fairly predictable. But one thing that is clear though, we are having some anticipation leading up to that record date. So where do I want to see BBIG going as far as for tomorrow? Since in the after hours we're trading at $2.90, I'd want to see if we can get a test of $3. Maybe you might see that going down inside of the pre-market or maybe later on in the after hours as well. But $3 for tomorrow I feel should be achievable. But what is interesting, we want to see it break through certain levels if it gets to $3. We know $3 is a psychological area. So very quickly, we want to see some price action right away above 317. The moment we have that price action above 317 and we have more momentum, then I want to see us getting above 345. If you guys remember what I said, we want price action above 350 because we have the 200-day moving average, which is at $3.90. So this is definitely an area to keep an eye on if we really start seeing a lot of momentum coming into the play. So that's why I want to say, have a strategy. If we decide to pull back or we have consolidation, of course you want to see that 250 area show some strength. If it doesn't show any strength, then we know the next level is around 247. And if it ends up breaking through that level, that's why I was saying we can get down into the 220s. But another thing that I want to bring to your attention as far as for the overall technicals, we are on a strong uptrend. You can see we're able to form another higher low. So let's see what it does going into tomorrow. Let's move on to the short interest information. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for BBIG. Scrolling down on the page, green rows indicate new positions, while red rows indicate closed positions. So we can see we have Virtu Financial LLC that purchased 398,443 shares, and that's the only filing we actually have for the 17th, which was a new one. Now, when we take a look at the short interest, the off-exchange short volume ratio is at 55.35%, and then for the off-exchange short volume, it is just over 9.42 million shares. Scrolling down on the page, the short shares availability is at 40,000, updated 24 minutes ago. And then for the short borrow fee rate, it is at 59.83%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume, we can see for the close of the 13th, it was at 63.81. And then for the close of the 16th, being at 55.35. So right away, when we take a look at the short interest percentage of the float being at 15.25%, BBIG does have short short squeeze potential. Now let's move on to the order flow distribution.
Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for BBIG. So we see on the inflow, it was at 8.01 million, and then on the outflow is at 8.11 million. So we had an outflow day. Taking a look at the breakdown, on the large, it was 0.21 million. On the medium, it was 4.77 million. And then on the small, it was 3.03 million. Taking a look at the outflow side, you can see on the large, it was 0.87 million. On the medium, it was 4.98 million. And then on the small, it was 2.26 million. Taking a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for today, May the 17th, we had that outflow of negative 0.66 million. Analyzing the numbers even further for the small scale orders that tends to represent the retail side, we had more buying than we had selling. Not surprising. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more selling than we had buying. And then for the large, which represents whales, institutions, and funds, we had a lot more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at the turnover ratio, it was at 9.42%. And this is not bad for a volatile stock like BBIG. We're also well aware of the fact of the catalyst. I'll talk about that further inside of the final thoughts, so let's get into it right now. So for my final thoughts for BBIG in regards to the price action. So like I was saying, in the after hours, I saw it picking up a good amount of momentum. It had a high of $3.13. Inside of the technicals, I was saying you want to look for a break above $3.15. And why? Because if we could break through 315 and we have a lot more buying pressure coming into the stock, that's where I want to see us being able to break above 350. If we could break above 350, then the next resistance that we have is just below the 200-day moving average, which is around $3.90. Again, this is assuming we have a lot more volume coming into the play. And why would volume be coming into the play? It is going to be the 18th. So this is the record date for you to get those cryptide shares. So we could have some FOMO that comes into the play, or it could be a situation where we could experience some selling pressure. But at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter if there's a lot of demand in the market and many are buying up those shares so they can get that special dividend for the cryptide spinoff. So be aware of this. This is very important. If it decides to show some weakness, we want to continue to see some strength around $2.50. Today it saw a low of $2.59. And if you remember yesterday, we saw a low at $2.47. So it is staying in a very tight range as far as support is concerned. And as far as for the high of the day, remember, 280 is very well known. So going into tomorrow, having a break above 290, and I'm talking about during the market open, it can get very interesting. We also do know that $3 is a psychological area. There could be a lot of selling pressure there, but this is where we really get to see if there's demand in the market and there's buying volume coming into the play. But long story short, at least you know what it looks like to the downside, and you also know what it looks like to the upside. Also, we went on Fintel taking a look at the recent institutional ownership. We do see some activities from institutions loading up on shares. And then on top of that, for the short interest information, what do you think? BBIG does continue to have short squeeze potential. So that's why you want to make sure you keep this play on close watch. And it's very important because it can move very quickly. And I know we have been seeing some low volume, but if we continue to see strength inside of these markets, I can see BBIG wanting to move up even more. But do understand, there's a lot of risk. So if you are going to be putting your money into this play, you cannot be afraid to lose it. And you want to make sure that you have a strategy in regards to a stop loss. And you want to know what your entry is going to be and have a good idea of what your exit is going to be. This is very crucial. And also find out for yourself whether you're an investor or you are a trader. If you are an investor, you don't mind adding to your BBIG position if the stock decides to pull back. If you are a trader and you're starting to panic, or you know what, it's going against your game plan as far as where you want the stock to go, then you already know what you need to do. I can't give you guys financial advice, but I want to make sure I'm giving you perspective, so before you push that buy button, you know exactly what your intentions are. So I can't wait to see how BBIG performs going into tomorrow, and of course I will continue to keep you guys updated. We'll talk soon.